dripping air. Flight Grizzy.
Yeah. That's right. You know, I'ma stay low. Okay, I be on a plane. What's the color of the straight gold? Beatsmith music. Alright now. Tell me what it is, tell me what it do. Yeah, tell me what it is, tell me what it do. Yeah, tell me what it does. I'm all about my money and I ain't a scrub. Yeah, tell me what it is, tell me what it do. Yeah, tell me what it is, tell me what it do. Yeah, tell me what it does. Yeah, I'm all about my money and I ain't a scrub. Bitch, I'm from the hood, but I ain't a thug. Yeah, trust I ain't a cuz or I ain't a blood. Yeah, I be on my dolo. Yeah. Got hit by Cupid, but I ain't in love. I need you in a hurry, but it ain't a rush. I used to be a snake, then I became a dove. Yeah, can't kill Abel, cause can't a thug. Cause ain't nobody wanna sue an Abel dog. Damn. Tweet literally, I'm that birdie on the windowsill. You gon' need some milk, but I heard you had some infant milk. You be on a treadmill, but you need to straight relax. You been on a journey, but I heard you didn't make it back. I went through a portal when I came out where the Matrix at. Used to have a flaming sword, now I need a flaming axe. Or a change of Uriel, nigga, I be claiming that. Nothing changing that. Alright now, tell me what it is, tell me what it do. Yeah, tell me what it is, tell me what it do. Yeah, tell me what it does. I'm all about my money and I ain't a scrub. Yeah, tell me what it is, tell me what it do. Yeah, tell me what it is, tell me what it do. Yeah, tell me what it does. I'm all about my money and I ain't a scrub. Bitch, I'm Uriel on an Angel Hill. You only got a girl just to pay the bills. Yeah, nigga, use a lane. You only tellin' lies just to make it real. Got 4, 5 chicks that's gon' stay for real. You thinkin' dead, got them thinking dead. Fat, short, tall, skinny, small, bet my dick go in. Having lots of kids and I'm disappearing in the wind. Like balls, yeah. Came down to this world like I'm a beast, yeah. Can't tell me nothing else cause I'm unique, yeah. All you niggas like to do is find a week, yeah. I'm about all you vampires up by the week, yeah. I ain't showing no remorse. How you on a spirit path and don't know the course? I'm about to go back to the hood, hope you know the course. What it is, what it do, what it does, so of course. Alright now. Tell me what it is, tell me what it do. Yeah, tell me what it is, tell me what it do. Yeah, tell me what it does. You know, I'm all about my money and I ain't a scrub. Yeah, tell me what it is, tell me what it do. Yeah, tell me what it is, tell me what it do. Yeah, tell me what it does. I'm all about my money and I ain't a scrub.
Northwest territory, Northwest territory, Northwest territory, Northwest, it'll go to further than that, bet. I was saying, bet. A little bit of this, a little bit of, remember that song, YouTube, 50 Cent, a little bit of this. You heard me. You know what I'm saying? You heard me. You know what I'm saying? You heard me. Strip down. You know what I'm saying? Man. You ever heard of rap replies? You know what I'm saying? Real stuff, YouTube. How you doing, YouTube? Check it out. We get ready to experience the full moon. Hope everybody know what the full moon is. Spiritually, mentally, and physically. Hope everybody understand what it is. So, you know, say if you're a man, you might get mad at this time. You can't really get fully erect. That's why hold it. If you're a female, just, you know what I'm saying? You can't quite get like the don't go taking it out on everybody else and become a feminist online. Other than that, we good to go. Moon and Virgo, sun and Virgo. Oh, but we get ready to have that full moon in Pisces. You better believe it. We're going to break it down so you can get prepared. You can know what to do. And you can realize, was it all just your imagination? Running away from me. Just your imagination. Running away from me. Where Motown Records 2026 at when you need it, but still, you know what I'm saying? Motown, other than that, let's sell some cars, America. And other than that, you gotta understand about that money. And don't ever forget it ain't gonna be. It's gonna be about that money. Don't ever, because I'm about to say it ain't. No, don't ever forget it is about to be about that money. Anytime the sun go into any earth sign, specifically right now, Virgo, you're going to be calculating, analyzing a lot. It might not be about your problems, might not be about your relationships, might not be about something that's miscellaneous, or however the case may be. I guarantee it'll be about that money, though. I guarantee it'll be about something that's dealing with your responsibilities. Guarantee it might have something to do with your health. Guarantee it got something to do with your routines and patterns and what you do on a day-to-day basis, or however the case may be. And if you ain't get ready to be prepared for that, get prepared to get your goddamn spiritual We ain't talk about Bobby Smurder and GS9 and them, shot them out. But get prepared to get your spiritual kicked. Because we could be watching a Marvel movie and we could be listening to Homegirl and she could be saying, yeah, we take ass and kick names. Whatever she said, it was backwards. She didn't get the understanding of it and stuff like that. But I understood. Real spiritual people understand, because look, it take eyes to hear. You know what I'm saying? Eyes to see. I mean, it take eyes to hear, ears to see. So I get it. I get it. If you don't understand that, then sometimes this is why you live backwards. You live in a physical, your body, and the external. So for the most part, everything you're supposed to see from the starting point, spiritual, and the mind, is backwards. Then your mind get lost into the physical and then the external physical. Then you don't need to believe in the spirit. Then your mind all over the place. It's just like your imagination running away from you. It'd be running in the physical, it'd be running in the external. Then the external be representing the physical too. Other people, other circumstances. Then you get into the devil, expecting. You get ready to fight a long fight when it comes to life. See, it ain't what we see, it's how we see it. Y'all don't be seeing how y'all lost into the flesh. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't be seeing, so y'all get other humans' representations of it. You don't get you experiencing it for yourself and you being able to understand it and have it from its most natural position of understanding, okay, look, this is me being lost in the flesh. This me being lost in a situation where I might not know how I got here from the starting point, but I know I didn't jumped in a spaceship mentally, and it was connected to what it condensed, and a lot of other spirits had that same, they was in the same space, had similar mind states, and added on to that energy, thoughts and feelings. Then it condensed, and it was something I was attached to. Now here's the thing, once it got a transition, it play out like the seasons. So we should expect spring, summer, fall, and winter. We should expect that mechanism to play out in this, in its own version. So it may not be spring, summer, fall, and winter, but it may be how I started something is how it's going to end. Maybe I started a cheater, I ended one. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I started retarded, I ended one. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? I started a degenerate, I ended a reprobate. However the case it may be, you got to know what pocket you're jumping in. Once it's a mental rock and it's something you jump in with a lot of other spirits, it start playing out like spring, summer, fall, and winter. And the deeper you get inside of it, you lose your get on that. Let me see you get to get on that. You know what I'm saying? You lose sight and you get under that sky and clouds and only see that sunlight. And whoever like the hardest, who get the most attention, or whoever know how to construct the most mental thoughts, they're gonna be really the sun you look up to and stuff like that. Whoever like they're part of, they all add their little light bulb and they be like a little sun in that realm of reality. So you be looking up to that thought form and taking your little piece, of small percentage scale in that realm of reality. So you won't be able to use it to the maximum percentage. So you just like a fool down here playing out a role somebody else know how to do much better. You know what I'm saying? Like Homeboy said, and I could have did it much better. You know what I'm saying? Get spiritual. Because when y'all lose sight of know how to get spiritual, I don't even want to get into nothing surface level, even astrology and stuff like that, because you don't even know where I'm coming at. You start being like, wait a minute, you know what I'm saying? And we ain't talking about a Ray J song. So look, peep game, we got the sun in Virgo, just making everybody have to pay attention to some mutable earth. Be mutable and being able to it. Happy flight day. So all my Virgos out there. But this make everybody have to goddamn pay attention to mutable earth, being mutable and being able to adapt to your own and other people's ways of thinking and being practical. So that's going to be transmuted and grounded into six house natures, as far as work, health, routine, scheduling, things you do on a day-to-day basis, and how we take care of our responsibilities. Now, these are going to be things that you worry about if you're not able to construct these things in the right manner. So if you ain't got that mutable earth quality, that's going to be like the negative energies that fall on, aka some lack of effort, some lack of work or stability, some lack of being able to take care of your health in some way, shape, or form, or whatever that you're doing and you're not analyzing what you're doing properly. That situation could create a health problem. So you have to be careful right now. If you in sports also, Get ready to go to school, as a lot of kids actually did and stuff like that. Work in construction, you know what I'm saying? A lot of those things gonna be needed. You know, anytime the seasons start to change, or however, things outside as far as material and even the roads and stuff start to become miscellaneous. So, you know, you might be in some of these situations not thinking clearly, thinking about other areas of your life, your other houses, situations that played out. Now you're a few moons behind. And now that the sun is in Virgo, you're not analyzing your situation the right way. These other worries and stress might have you in a situation where you create a health issue or a health crisis or a work, what they call that, a work, not work pension, but whatever, when you get hurt on the job or however the case may be, because you ain't paying attention. You probably work in construction, you working with hammer and nails and things, and you just worried about your wife, what she did or whatever, and boom, you ain't got no more hand no more or whatever, because you thought you was Mr. Construction Man, or what's that old construction show called? You know what I'm saying? Or you handling a bulldozer, or you think you want to go build construction and build the next skyscraper, and you the one who fell off and stuff like that because you ain't strapped the seatbelt the right way, or however them straps is called. So you got to be careful during that time of Virgo when you go in extreme and you still having to do things like take care of your responsibilities, but other things in your life may throw you off from analyzing what you're taking care of. And that goes for your job, your work, your health. These are things you have to pay attention to before you even start to go out and start to express yourself or interact or reciprocate or get into your work fields and jobs and stuff like that. And if you got a job that's kind of hazardous like that, or sports, anything that deals with possibilities, if your mind ain't right while you're engineering it or while you're doing it, something crazy could happen, right? Any job like that is what you have to be extra self-aware of during this particular time of the sun being in Virgo, because it's going to make everybody pay attention to their health. And if you're a person who's been bragging, like let's say you in a better health position than someone else in some way, shape, or form, but you've been utilizing it for negative expectation, demonic energies, aka putting other people down, not motivating others or whatever. You've been using it to put other people down in a negative way that don't even create a situation for them to be inspired to even try to get better or whatever the case. You're going to get put spiritually in their shoes, and it might not be whatever physically that they have as far as similar, but it may be something that you stop from doing, that you get stopped from doing based upon you being in that position to be better than them when it comes to physical or health or whatever. So make sure you wasn't in those energies and you still in the same positions where that energy that you put out could be coming back in, because that means you ain't changed your circumstance or your life in any kind of way to even get it, to even spread yourself out in the spiritual world, that when it manifests mentally and physically, you get less of the percentage scale of it back, but yet still knowing that this is what you're dealing with and things you have to experience to get out of it, even if it's similar. You see what I'm saying? You won't be in that space. You'll be in the space of still dealing with the same cycle over and over again. And for the most part, that's mentally first. Now, when you're in a physical situation, it's just you thinking you're doing the same thing in your routines and patterns. And the spirit is your space. Your mind is your first body, and the energy, thoughts, and feelings. And the physical is what you're actually representing those forms in. And if you in the same physical position as you was when you was throwing out those spiritual manifestations and materializing mind states, and then conducted that as energy and transmuted it as a conduit through your body, if you in those same locations or those same situations, even if you ain't in those physical locations, you got time in that area to get that cloud back. And when you put it out, it get attached to other people's thought forms, other people's mind states that you may have affected, and other people in that spiritual space who probably had a worse or better way of going about it, even if you ain't around them physically. So it may even slow up a little bit, but you're going to get that energy back to make you impact or react with the same impactful potency of energy that you put out in some way, shape, or form. And even more, if you ain't learning your lesson and getting those small increments back that you ain't realizing that's what it is, and you think you getting over something, or those ain't got nothing to do with it. Then when you get that whole thing back or whatever the case, then that lets you know now you're getting ready to be in the same shoes of the individuals that you put that energy out on or whatever the case. But it's going to play out in ever how your situation is. So if you ain't wise, you may not be aware that even if your situation is playing out something different, it ain't similar, the reaction in your emotional state is the same. You're getting hit with the same cloud, but you may not connect that. So you're not going to have the starting point of knowing where to change your ways to get out of that cycle, so you don't constantly keep repeating those same situations and adding the energy onto it with the spirit still there or whatever. Here you go. If you survive it, because it might be minor or something we could justify, whatever the case may be, so it'll take time to get over, you might still not deal with how you got in that cycle and that situation in the first place. And here you go, still being a degenerate, and then it's going to be worse next time. And then you're going to have to find more assistance, or the situation will be way more harder to get out. And here's the thing, depending on anytime we're in a spiritual space, that's what we start to develop more on our first bodies, mind states or whatever. So once you're in that mind state of not knowing that was your original problem, you're creating more delusions of it, of you not knowing that's your original problem. So for the most part, you're going further and further away from knowing why you always in these same type of similar reactions and situations, yet the circumstance may be different. The person, place, or thing may be different, yet you the one keep getting your car stole. Person, place, or thing may be different, yet you the one keep getting cheated on. Person, place, or thing may be different. You the one keep getting fired and getting the blamed as the responsible for the reason why you're getting fired and stuff like that, where other people may have had other reasons. Other people may have had to quit because they're moving. Other people may have got a better job. Other people may have been a dispute where, yeah, they got fired, it's on their resume, but it's an understandable dispute of what happened that don't necessarily create a negative stain or bad face card when they go shopping for other jobs and interviews and stuff like that. But yet yours not like that. So you have to be careful what kind of spiritual path you on when you're deluded. You're in dirt and you don't even know how to make a diamond again. So if even someone wanted to help you out from a distance, your family, friends, associates, and even a stranger won't even know where to start and won't even waste their time. And it'll be playing out in the third dimension like you don't even want no help. You know what I'm saying? Even though deep down you do, you may not know how you express yourself for it not to be there. And you may have certain actions to show that you don't want it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times you be having to check yourself. We be our own worst enemies if y'all don't be peeping game. You know what I'm saying? When it comes into these times. And when the sun go into Virgo, it's going to teach you that, because a lot of times you can go in aloof land, fairy tale land, and not know what kind of responsibilities you were supposed to be taking care of. And then you'll be trying to have to do things at the last minute or however the case may be. And anytime the sun is in Virgo, that's going to be an extreme worry for you, extreme stressful time or whatever, because, you know, maybe when the sun was in Leo, maybe when the sun was in Cancer, you probably have more things to see, to go about it, to be fixated in. And it may have seemed like it took more time to rise as an event. So it was things you probably could have swept up under the rug and be busy seeing and feeling other things. Leo, time the sun was in goddamn Cancer, you probably could have spent more time with family, home, or had more assistance or had more access to comfort. And comfort kind of separates you from things that you got to get up and do that you don't necessarily be wanting to do, but it's still part of your survival in that case. But for the most part, during the sun in Cancer, you probably didn't have to experience that. Now that the sun is in Virgo, it's going to make you pay attention to all those things that you didn't probably have to jump up and do. But yet, in order for you to feel comfortable while the sun is in Virgo, these are things you have to take care of. And it's going to be dealing with work, health routines, schedulings, and things that you do on a daily basis, and how you take care of your responsibilities. So be aware of those things also. And as the moon go through the transitions, those are going to be the way how we conduct it, the way how we kind of play. Look at it like a conduit. The moon is the conduit. That's the way it has to be shifted up. The moon is the world we are in, but the sun is how it got to look and how it appears to be. And they don't always align. So it's sometimes we may have an inconjunction. So we may experience misunderstandings. As long as you're aware of that, you know how to lessen up the quality of it being negative, and be around situations where if you was around it because you're getting close to you being a participant, you could realize things could be worse and hurry up and jump up out of it, because the universe will create a shape and form, a person, place, or thing to show you that you could be in that position and it's worse. So for the most part, all of these are like attributes and tools that you have to get out of your own senses at time, but use your senses to have a more broader awareness and things. Be sensitive to the actual life senses and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, get out of your own senses thinking you need to actually hear something when something need to be heard. Get out of your own senses at time thinking that you actually need to see something when things need to be seen. And we got a lot of qualities in life that actually show us how we could ground that more on a percentage scale of what makes sense than what don't make sense, or however the case may be. Because a lot of individuals, when you're a human, you get so comforted in what another human may taught, and then you tie it to religious and spiritual aspects, and then take what I'm saying and think it ain't an actual existence, right? Where there's animals that existence show you that they don't always have to see to have a certain sight sometimes, and they got an eyeball just like you. And we can see how it works officially in certain scenarios that they are in, dealing with y'all crazy ass humans, right? We can see certain bugs or another humans, another animals and stuff like that sometimes can have a sense without hearing or whatever, whether you're trying to creep up on an animal or whatever, and certain animals can sense it without the hearing or whatever. So we can see these qualities actually playing playing out. And you can get into the fact if it's germane or applicable to a beginning stage or a starting point and it being developed and you having a greater stage of that, being a human at the moment or not. And then that's what I like to talk to spirituality, having senses about the sensitivity or being sensitive to the senses and the sensitivities of life or whatever. So yeah, this is physical or whatever, but it has a sensitivity to it. This ain't gonna respond as this respond. This ain't gonna respond as this respond. So that come from a starting point before it developed that way. This starting point is a different origin. This starting point is a different origin. So for the most part, you're getting into it beyond the physical. And once you understand that, you understand intent or you understand beginning stages. And you always have healthier starting points to understand what situation you're in or what you're actually dealing with. So even if you're not fully aware of everything, you're on the path of knowing. So when you just know, it ain't the fact that you're going to know everything in the third and the fourth spectrum. Spiritually, you're creating a craft, a body of thoughts and feelings to wear as a first spiritual soul, individual, naked body, right? And then that mentality is, I know. So then that mind condense and become adrenaline and through your physical situation, and it takes you through situations. Now you materialize situations that you don't know in order for you to know. So if you stay on that I know path, you're going to manifest a lot of situations you don't know that you eventually you made and created so you can know. And eventually when you're on that path spiritually, in order, physically, you end up knowing a lot more than other individuals that may be going down similar paths, but they ain't go the distance as you based upon that scenario, however the case may be. So it's always and vice versa, which I'll be thinking y'all doing physical if you ain't doing it spiritual first, or however the case may be. So when you're a person that's in the spiritual space of I don't know, you create a whole bunch of situations. You create that cloth spiritually, then it condenses physically, and then you come out externally, the fourth, and you create a whole bunch of situations where you don't know something you should know. And it's something that should be common sense. And you're going to have close people around you or even strangers around you that probably look at you as retarded or look at you like, why you didn't know that? And you may be really thinking, like, if you, depending on how low on the scale you are, you may be really thinking like, how will anybody else know that? I ain't stupid or whatever, until you start to get older and start to go through life and start to realize, damn, I was dumb. That was common sense, or however the case may be. It's tricky. You could try it every day and stuff like that. That's why God tests those. But if you want to transmute it with the universe or whatever the case may be, right? When you want to know, life end up seeming like it's hard for you, right? But if you don't realize it throughout these times, God always be throwing you people, places, and things that need your assistance, logically or even physically, of something you went through and you learned. But if you take those situations for granted, you won't be knowing how to see those situations from other angles and being able to substantiate your life from those situations as your purpose to be able to duplicate off of and things of that nature, and or get money or whatever the case. So it's like real tricky, you know what I'm saying? Because you could be so much in the resentment of what have happened when things do go through smoothly. You too busy on resentment or finally, or I deserve this, and then that come with other energies like the devil, or not being able to see when you can help someone else out in certain situations, when you plan out certain things like ego in certain situations, like it get deep. But when you truly understand the spiritual world, you really understand what's actually going on and things of that nature. You're in a spiritual space, and then represent that spiritual space is when you start being aware. That's you making your mind and being aware of all the other spirits that's making minds there. And the mind could be cloth, the cities and states, how you feel comfortable with interacting or not. Is you doing the right thing or not with that idea or whatever? Then we got that left, right, up, down system there. And then for the most part, then it condenses and become into the physical. And then you start to express it. And then if you don't know that it's a duplicate of the space you was in, you're going to be enduring it secondhand and trying to learn it as if it already happened to you or whatever. For an example, right? Life is simple. When you hear me say things, and I ain't even put that live stream up. I should have put that live stream up though. Life purpose is to make organs, right? And to say I'm here. A person will over exaggerate because they're lost into I need Jordans, or I'm in this religion, or this, that, and the third. So you're trying to find, you're lost in the physical and the external. You forgot that you created an organ in the first place to be able to do those things. So obviously you're already doing something. So get out of the bias and realize you're an organ. So obviously that's the purpose of life. we're making organs. So whether you start your starting point on a miscellaneous, I need some Jordans external, or another human lostness based upon a bias, or you started on the starting point of, okay, we're doing something to create an organ and I'm just lost in the layers of it. Let me try to create a concept or intellect of peeling back the layers of what I'm inside of, which is a organ. And if I'm observing something, then obviously I'm not none of these organs. I'm wrapped in the organ, or I'm attached to it. So once you get into that aspect, you'll be like, oh, okay, so my blood is actually coming from the condensing of thoughts. A collection of thoughts is condensing as feelings. The feelings is condensing as an emotion. This motion is a shape and form and something I'm concealed in that I created around myself as layers. And then that's what I'm actually in and calling an organ, or whatever the case may be. So for the most part, that's why when I think, I move my body, because it's the connection. When I think, I'm building adrenaline, the blood itself. You know what I'm saying? Or where blood come from then. And then that's when you're going to get retarded. You know what I'm saying? So if you a thinking entity or whatever, that means you a spirit in space. So you take many forms. So you carnate, create a form, incarnate, go inside of it, recarnate, be able to do that again in a more sufficient manner, heaven, or in a more degenerate manner, hell. But you gonna be here, existence. We all share different worlds, different realities, different lives. That's just different minds, different bodies, and different ways we express it. But we all share the same existence. So that goes for humans, animals, bugs, which is the smaller forms of animals, and everything. Them different worlds, different mind, different matters. It could dissonance in different mathematical shapes and forms. But as that spiritual space and root race of spiritual pockets, all sharing the same existence, and it ain't what we do, is how we do it. This is just a representation of it. The body is just a representation of the mind, and the mind is just a representation of where the spirit's at, doing their creations together. Teamwork makes the dream work, being in sync and being relatable, and that goes through experiences. So if you a human, you've been a spirit that was aware, a space that was aware a lot longer than something that don't have attention span as long as you. That when you have an attention span, right, is developed from awareness, right? So the longer you know how to hold on to an awareness, that's what y'all call a memory, but it's just holding on to an awareness. That awareness, you add more thoughts and feelings, more angles to it, and it's condensing, and it's becoming your organs or whatever. So tension span become organs and things of that nature. So for the most part, something that has a lesser tension span created lesser organs. So when you see an animal, they don't know how to work their organs as efficiently as a human. What do that come from? It's grounded on they don't know how to think as efficient as a human. So the only thing separating is the spirit existence itself of being aware. And if you a spirit, you was on a transition of carnation, incarnation, and reincarnation before we came aware after you. And then for the most part, we're all portaling each other through each other. You know what I'm saying? All these things, mosquitoes, everything come from inside out. You know what I'm saying? So humans created a lot of stuff when it comes into the bugs, and then the animals has created a lot of stuff too. You know what I'm saying? When an animal die and they blood leak next to some water, the spiritual root races, that's a group of spirits that just became aware, and that little small aspect for themselves got something to work with. They're inside of that little small world, and then they get to take that little pocket and then start to absorb that blood in that water and sit in it and then become mosquitoes. So now all species need the thing that they created externally or whatever. So if a mosquito need human blood, the mosquito is made out of human blood or whatever. If humans need water, then humans is made out of water. You get it? You get it? It's simple. You know what I'm saying? You got to really but Virgo is going to make us overanalyze our scientific minds and stuff like that. And remember, even when I ain't breaking down the astrology, I'm a living expression because I do this. So I got my own way of doing it. I play out the energies themselves. So the talking subject matter is Aquarius moon, Virgo sun, scientific mind, and things of that nature. But needing to use that in the spiritual world. Virgo opposite Pisces, and needing to be more expressive so the stage could be set, so it could be seen or felt. Opposite of Aquarius, Leo. You see what I'm saying? So for the most part, the communication that's in this fixated area could be at its highest potency, highest octave, moon in Aquarius, And what we analyzing and what I'm expressing can be at its highest octave, because it ain't just about surface level things, yet it's about things that we don't necessarily know how to make sense out of, that's being made sense out of. So parables and hypotheticals is having some grounding to it. That water imagination is having a cup that it could take a shape and form through my voice and me and this YouTube. And shout out to who created online and stuff like that for us to be able to do this right now at the moment. So for the most part, this is how you look at the elements beyond, oh, what you about to hit the lottery today because you're an Aquarius. So, like, you know what the fuck about your birth? You know what I'm saying? But if you take knowledge like this, you'll realize how you probably can hit the lottery. Save all your money and never go to a gas station and waste your money on a lottery ticket. Boom, there you go. Now you got common sense. You know what I'm saying? Now you get it. Now you're like, oh, this is true astrology to know that everybody lost even trying to do that. You get it? You know what I'm saying? You end up having a real good common sense now. You're like, oh, the sun is in Virgo. Oh, they make 98% of the lottery tickets losers anyway, especially during Virgo season and stuff like that. So let me make sure Virgo season, I don't go get a lottery ticket. You know what I'm saying? You start getting real cold. Start getting real cold in your brain. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. But like I said, with the moon being in Aquarius, we're reacting and responding scientifically, not emotionally, scientifically, not even always logically. You know what I'm saying? Even though that's what they're supposed to go to. Every now and then when the Aquarius get lower octave, and for my Aquarius signs, every now and then y'all get a little bit lower octave, y'all don't even be logical, but y'all be scientific. Trying to scientifically dissect something. And this is what a lot of times y'all share in common with the Virgo, due to the fact of your ruler is Saturn, but you are an air planet. And Saturn is like an earth planet when the sun is in that pocket to play out earth qualities. With the in Capricorn, you're just on the masculine side of it and things of that nature. And when the sun is in those pocket early stages, for like when it's start to represent full Gemini or Virgo, whatever, right? We would consider that an air planet, or not an air planet, but the air pocket that the sun get ready to fly through in its mutable positions, or however the case may be. So that would be an air representation. Mercury, based upon an air sign like Virgo, and Aquarius will be an earth sign represented by, an air sign represented by the earth representation, or if y'all want to call it planet or whatever the case may be, which will be Saturn. So it's like the same interest, but going about it in different ways, or however the case may be. You see what I'm saying? It's almost like I want to talk or analyze about what's in front of us, so we're not getting too far out there, or however the case may be. And if we do get too far out there, it's going to be my version of being far out there in some way, shape, or form. And every now and then, Virgo take the feminine route. They go far out there with worry and stress. And Aquarius take the masculine route. They go far out there with detachment, separation. You know what I'm saying? That then it transmute and how they play out their life. In Aquarius, it may look like ghosting. It may look like sweeping something up under a rug. It may look like not taking care of the responsibility of something mentally, physically, or an emotional connection with other individuals you're close to in some way, shape, or form, knowing that you're responsible for things to be moving in that manner. Yet when it start moving in that manner, now you're waiting for other people to take charge, like the mutable or the cardinal sign. Wait a minute, you fixed us in this situation. Learn how to get us out. You know what I'm saying? However the case may be, it ain't my duty and obligation. Then the Virgo be in a situation where, you know what I'm saying, you might get a little confused, but you want to analyze about things and before you want to communicate about it. But these are things that you want to communicate about. You just want to analyze about it so you don't appear to be stupid. You know what I'm saying? But every now and then you may communicate too fast based upon thinking you got it. Oh, I got it. Spectre Gadget, Carmen Sandiego. Boom, you think you got it or whatever the case. And then really it just sounds like you put a whole bunch of your 2 cents in a wishing well nobody wish you ever did. You know what I'm saying? Because you thought you got it together. No, we didn't need a broom to go hit this lick on this drill. Drills don't take house appliances and stuff like that and cleaning things. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. However you talk, just because we say we about to mop the floor, we ain't talk about we need a broom and what's going to happen if we don't bring it. And we got to make sure we bring, you know what I'm saying? You just making more work to something that we ain't got to do. And we ain't even talking about that. So every now and then when the Virgo get lower octave, they might overly talk about the things we don't need to be talking about right now. It just seemed like you worrying and stressing over that. You know what I'm saying? Not us. You made that up for us to have to worry about. That ain't even got nothing to do with the situation. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times y'all got to peep game. And if you're around a Virgo, y'all probably know what I'm talking about too. It'd be certain situations where you're like, what you say that for? So it'd be something else that's indirect, mutable, that got something to do with warning you about something or whatever, but it wasn't the direct warning. You know what I'm saying? Preventing you from doing something, but it wasn't the exactly stopping you from doing it or saying it, but it was something germane or applicable towards it that you supposed to think on your own and initiate or get fixated in and be like, yeah, that makes sense. Let me not do that. Yeah, that makes sense. Let me be in fear. Yeah, that makes sense. Let me worry. Yeah, that makes sense. Let me be. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got to be careful being around Virgo sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It'd take you years of your life to realize you were worried about nothing. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. It'd be taking them years of their life too to realize they'd be worried about nothing and stuff. And then that's when they become the higher octave after a while. Start to kind of compartmentalize what to worry about and what not to worry about. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of stuff they'll look back on their life to be like, oh, that was really what's stressing me out. That's where that health problem come from. Oh, that was stressing me out. That's what made me negative and degenerate. That really God and Jesus Christ got me out of. They didn't make up anything too. Sometimes they get overly spiritual too. But at the same time, they be making it up based upon their surface level situations and what they feel like they had to do. So a lot of times you can't be really counting on them to get cheered up or whatever the case. You kind of got to like be aware that it's going to be a negative outcome described to you or why you shouldn't or whatever. So if you ain't really ready for that at times, you know what I'm saying? Leave the Virgo advice alone. Leave their 2 cents alone. You know what I'm saying? Leave their quarters and nickels alone. You know, I'm sorry, Virgos. I love y'all. No, we keep our phones off airplane mode for y'all. You know what I'm saying? We keep our phone off don't disturb for y'all. I don't want to sometimes. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, this the energies that we all just gonna be experiencing as far as every star may not align. You may be in conjunct with this energy, however the case may be. That's for Geminis and Aries, such as myself. I'm an Aries. So we may misunderstand with the ground and the things that we may be doing. So listen up, Geminis and y'all Aries. It may be things that we're doing at this particular time that we're comfortable with that may be a complete opposite because we misunderstand. It may be a complete opposite in a complete opposite direction of dealing with our health routine, scheduling, how we take care of our responsibilities. Like we might be doing things that, yeah, this is our passion, our motivations as an Aries. You may be doing things as a Gemini. Yeah, this is my networks. This is how I communicate. This is my actions. This is how I do things or whatever the case may be. But for the most part, it's going to create that misunderstanding. Well, for the Geminis, a square. You know what I'm saying? For y'all, Gemini's a square, but it's going to create that square, that little frustration. And for us Aries, it's going to create that little misunderstanding of where to actually direct our energies at. So I might be passionate, or y'all Aries, y'all might be passionate about something, right? But if you ain't being aware of your responsibilities or your health or whatever the case may be, these things might not be connected, and you might start creating a way of how they're connected. So what you're passionately invested into might start affecting your health in some way, or might start making you procrastinate your responsibilities. So you have to be careful of that. If you're a Gemini, you're going to be in a situation where you're going to be frustrated with your way of communicating or your way of analyzing things or how other people are analyzing things, because it may not never reach that space of feeling free or being able to take action towards something. It's always going to be like it's always something in front that has to be done before we can fully go forward with this. Look like this the goal, because look, you share the same energy as Mercury, so there's going to be the same common interest, but the way of going about it is where the frustration going to come from. Both mutable signs, you're mutable air, but you got to go about it in mutable earth. So thinking is going to be there, but practicality and communicating is what's going to clash. And it may be things that you may say that butt you out of a situation that can be prosperous, money-wise or whatever, because of how you see it and how it's being expressed and how your actions and how you communicate about it. And you may be right of how something should be done, but the way you say it, or just by you saying it, it may be other people involved that look at that as a threat. It may be other people involved that look at that like it's not needed. It may be other people involved that look at that like you're bringing something that actually makes situations worse or whatever the case, because they're not aware of that, whatever you brought to the table, making the situation better, right? And then it takes them to crash out and you having to look from a distance, but really can't be in that person's face to be like, I told you so, based upon the separation in the first place of how much they was invested into considering you wasn't right or however. So you can't even be like, I told you so, nor do you even want to, because a person shouldn't have been that invested in being wrong in the first place. So it might be a lot of frustrations Geminis go through at this time when it comes to mentally and having to overanalyze in areas you don't want to overanalyze in, because you share the Mercury energy, but you got a different element. So for the most part, you're going to have that same interest, but clash in that area where you got interest at and stuff. So be careful with even having too much conversations with people that you always know you got to give advice to, or you got to give the better perspective to, because it could be people that you around that, yeah, the position that they in is cool. So you just being attached to them or you being attached to you makes the situation better. But we all know those little, what they call it, pet peeves or something like that, where one person character at times, depending on the group and the situation y'all involve yourselves in, this character is not germane or applicable for this situation. It may be cool for this. Like, for an example, you might be in a little dirt situation right now. Yeah, some of his homeboys was good for those scenarios, but probably wasn't good for the scenarios of going with little dirt when it's time to have a meeting, or when it's time to have, or when it's time to go to a studio in another city or something like that, based upon a big check involved or whatever the case may be. Now, when you go into other rinky-dink studios or going to have rinky-dink performances and not no stadium or something like that, bring the guys, or however the case may be. You see what I'm saying? But the character of that may not be necessary for or germane for this situation. See what I'm saying? That's how it's going to play out for Geminis during this time. Same common interest, Mercury, same things you're familiar with. Look like you got the better idea to go about it or whatever, but the character you're bringing ain't germane for the situation itself. So you got to be careful. And not even people you be around and stuff like that. Sometimes, like, they got their own idea, and just the simple fact of your character, and they know that you will say something, that alone will like dictate their actions and motivate them to take. It might be like a scale. It might be like a point A, point B, point C, point D, and these are different routes, right? And point C is probably the best route to go, right? But this person you involved in, right, if you say something, they're willing to go to point B. And here's the thing, whether you're wrong, you gave advice for point A and point D, and it really is point C, or whether you're right, you gave advice. Everybody should go on the road of point C, or scribble in the box, or mark in the circle point C, or whatever the case may be. This person already had it made up in their mind. Y'all all got these routes to take, but if you say something, they're willing to take point B just to prove something to you, and it could possibly be wrong. And this person may not even know that it's wrong, and you're more intelligent in that area, and just them wanting to prove you ain't more intelligent, they're blinded from even seeing that they're wrong or right. Geminis, y'all could be in a lot of those situations at this time. Y'all know that mind game. You know what I'm saying? Don't even play it. Don't even play it at this time, because all it's going to do is create a problem with people you close to. So if you already know you got those people you around, Geminis, and they already got those bringing up other things before the actual situation, even when y'all having lighthearted conversations, don't even get into something that's actually serious or actually need to be done, especially if you make music and you in the studio with people and stuff like that. You about to be everybody's worst enemy for no reason. Even if you got the best thing to do, to hit the button on the engineer thing, or whatever, oh, no, they're going to be bringing up things last week. No, we ain't talking about last week. The sun in Virgo this week. Not last, you know what I'm saying? But you can't say stuff like that when you're in the studio. Say, you know what I'm saying? Just take what I'm saying as a mental pocket and be like, oh, I get it. Let me not mess nothing up if I'm close to these people. All Geminis, you know what I'm saying? Sagittarius is, y'all gonna be in some energies and being a little frustrated and stuff like that, because the way you got to go about taking care of your health, or the way you got to go about perceiving situations, you might get cornered in a situation where your morality is being forced to be put in the back seat for the sake of your bills. So you got to be intelligent. You're gonna deal with these frustrations of morality, or the reality of something, spirituality, or this physical thing. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be going through the frustrations, but you're going to be the example, because all square signs is going to be getting hit with these esoteric rocks. But you're going to be the example for us on what to do and what not to do. Not what to do and what not to do, but how to go about it smoothly. You got to do it, but do you got the most efficient way? Do you got the most wise way? Do you got the most moral way? Or whatever, where it doesn't create a trap. Sometimes you can sit back as a Sagittarius and look at earth signs. Yeah, that was a way to do something to get that, but that obligation you did. You didn't have to take that responsibility or obligation. You could have carved out something where it was still free somewhere, or you wasn't trapped somewhere, because this is how Sagittarius to see things. So this is up for y'all right now. How can we make money not getting trapped in that way of making money? How can we do that thing without getting trapped in whatever the subjectory is, or the ego, or the validation is, and be able to switch up at the time that's needed without the things that come with switching up if it's cold turkey because you invested too much space into something or time into something, aka getting trapped into something. That's how Sagittarius to see it. So for the most part, it's like that kind of situation. If you're unproductive, you might get trapped or escape from something that really ain't supposed to be escaped. Your responsibilities. So don't run away from your responsibilities at this time, how you take care of things or whatever the case may be, but there's going to be a lot of ways that you look at like it's kind of shady on even how to go about to take care of these things, which you always seen anyway. It is not going to be as so apparent as now, and that kind of internal energy that force you to or intimidate you to participate. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have people, places, and things, people online, TV, or whatever the case be, like, it ain't no other way to go about it but this way. And the Sagittarius, it might not even be a way you probably disagree with before, but just by the sun being in a square, you're going to find the Sagittarius way to look at it. And you're going to start seeing like, damn, I don't want to be trapped into that, because I mean, I would do that, but I don't want to be expected to do that tomorrow. I will participate, but I don't want it to seem like I got to do this next month. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like this is kind of energy that you're going to have to deal with. Yet, it's stuff you're going to have to jump in and may take a month. It's stuff you got to jump in, and you may have to do that tomorrow. See what I'm saying? So it's all about how you do it, and you're going to lead the way in showing us how to do it, so we don't get trapped into all the energies and other signs may do it and love the energies that come with. Like Mitch was saying, you got to love the game or whatever. So he loved getting in the game to get the Jordans. After a while, you didn't even care about Jordans. You're just doing it because you can get them, and that's what you're known for. So you're in it for that. I love the game. But behind closed doors, you calling people a poo putt, but you really don't care about them Jordans and stuff like that because you got every pair. You know what I'm saying? So it's at that point. So Sagittarius is you'll sit back and look at that and be like, I don't know about that, or whatever the case may be. Yet you see that's what it need in order for things to survive, and whatever it comes with when it comes to taking care of your responsibilities, your day-to-day tasks or however, and you see other people going and bypassing it and stuff like that. So is it going to be your choice to make of how to do it, but not run from it completely, because what's going to be sacrificed is your ability to take care of your responsibilities in some way, shape, or form. So keep that in mind, being the Sagittarius is. When it comes to Pisces, and y'all get ready to experience the full moon energy too, because everybody is going to have to see is what they was in was an imagination, or was it reality? You know what I'm saying? Did it make sense? Did it ground you, or whatever the case? Or was you just lost? You know what I'm saying? Was that creative, or was you just lost? So Pisces, y'all going to be the anchoring of that, because y'all going to be showing us how to take our creativity and our imagination and ground it somewhere so it feel comfortable every day getting up and working towards it, analyzing it, looking at it like it's a job. Even if we got a job, we're making that part of the responsibility also, or whatever the case. So whatever our creative endeavors are, whatever, because Pisces, y'all be having it, but y'all don't never place it in y'all opposite or y'all earth sign position, the Virgo energy. So it'd be taking y'all years in life, the sooner the better, to evolve into that stage and be like, okay, the things I was thinking about that I was attaching to spirituality or extra meaning to it wasn't necessarily that. And if I would have started looking at it this way and acting on it this way more realistically, then I wouldn't probably had a bunch of those problems I had previously in life. So this is what a lot of times Pisces start to get older and start to realize, and things of that nature. So right now, if you're a higher octave Pisces, the sooner the better. You probably already slightly in a situation where you have learned that, and you're going to be their representation for others. Like, yeah, this creative dream, this imagination. Yeah, I may feel this way. I may feel vulnerable. I may want this type of validation, but that ain't the main matter. Even if I start to feel uncomfortable in these situations that I'm expressing it, I always know to have faith and direct it in the right area, not in having faith in my imagination that something wrong gonna happen, or I'm not gonna get the validation to motivate me to keep doing it, or I'm starting to feel vulnerable because I didn't get the reciprocation that I imagined. So now I got to feel naked on how these people see it or how I feel about myself because it didn't play out in the way that I thought about it before I did it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times this is a lot of imaginations Pisces be going through. But at the same time, this is what you're going to be here to show us if you're the higher octave. You're going to be here to show us like none of those matter. Even if I am going through these situations, it ain't what I'm going through, it's how I deal with it. And now you're dealing with it like a higher octave Pisces, where you could show other Pisces and other zodiac signs also how to deal with rejection or how to express your imagination, even if you're not getting that validation, and based on the lack of validation, holding a lot of it in. You're showing people how to not do that and stuff, because you'll help Leos out, help Aries out, especially help your fatal attraction signs out, like Aries and Aquarius, but help out other signs, help the Cancer not be so moody and stuff like that, help the Scorpio not to be so secretive. It'd be things they be hiding that if there was to bring to the surface and stuff, and not have it attached to a whole bunch of other stuff that may be negative in other areas that is a reason why they being shown. Boom, you'll be showing them that they creative in areas that they didn't even know that they was in and stuff like that. And you'll be that friend putting a spotlight in an area none of their family, friends, and associates could spot in, that they developed so tough because it may have come with a bunch of other areas that got stuff with it that they probably could get in trouble for, be looked at as retarded for, stuff like that. For an example, Scorpios could get into some stuff like, let me stop using cheating as an example, because even though that's the best one. But let's just say it could be some stuff where they get involved in some stuff they ain't supposed to be doing, robbing, thieving, even cheating, manipulating, or whatever. But when they start to meet people or do certain things in these areas, they learn something in these areas. Maybe learn how to make music, maybe learn how to scam in a way that ain't dealing with scamming, that they learned from scamming or whatever the case may be. So it'd be good qualities that other people got that they can do because they ain't got this other thing with it. So, but it'd be things that the fellow Scorpio family friend or associate or coworker know how to do. Nobody knows because the other stuff that will be exposed with it. And if they're around that Pisces that know how to step aside that, put a spotlight, like, because certain traits to be like, hey, you remind me of a person who know how to do this in this area. The Scorpio will start opening up slowly but surely. They can do this with Aries too, but Pisces know how to do it a little better. And then the Pisces of the sometimes the Aries and the Pisces give the Scorpio the feeling that they're not going to be looked at as negative to build that shelter that they know a lot of their family, friends, or associates, or even if the Aries or Pisces is one of their friends, the other friends or family or associates won't be aware of, or whatever, or however the case may be. And then for the most part, boom, you'll start to be like, oh, Scorpio, you be doing some nasty stuff or whatever the case may be. But I knew you was talented here or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, Scorpios, y'all can't be in that energy right now. Y'all got to actually be expressive because people playing go gadget right now too, and investigation energy. So people would investigate for no reason. So any type of energy that look like you supposed to show up or participate and is less on a percentage scale, people light bulbs gonna arise and fulfill that pocket. And once they shine that area that unfulfilled that you're supposed to be fulfilling, but yet you're playing that spiritual space, right? They're shining a light in your glass house. And if you're doing anything in that house that you ain't supposed to be doing or whatever, and you thought you was hiding or whatever, it's your fault. It's almost like you doing something that's a bad habit. Now that made you procrastinate from taking care of your responsibilities, and your responsibilities is attached to other people, maybe a family member. Now, when your family member want to understand why you ain't taking care of your responsibilities, they may discover that. You know what I'm saying? So don't get caught in no situation where you sharing bills with people or you didn't got fired like last month. You know what I'm saying? Or some kid got fired last month, you telling everybody you still going to work. You still got people dropping you off and stuff like that. You going to work. You go chill at the bus station for a few hours. You know what I'm saying? You catch me tricky. Y'all be tripping. You know what I'm saying? Till you finally got to be like, when they start to be like, why you ain't got the same amount of money for the check, for the bill anymore or whatever. Then you know what I'm saying? They start investigating, and now before you can even lie, they done seen you chilling somewhere else at your homie house or whatever like that. Well, I thought I dropped you off at work or whatever. Now you got to go ahead and get exposed and feel vulnerable, Scorpio, like, damn, I got fired 2 months ago. You know what I'm saying? I don't get caught in no situation like that, Scorpios. The moon, the sun in Virgo, goddammit. Don't be Craig and get fired on your day off. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Pisces can help y'all with that in some way, shape, or form because the mutable signs, they get on down lock pack or whatever. So that's Sagittarius, Gemini, Pisces, and the Virgos. Virgos, y'all gonna be the example of what to do, what not to do when it comes to how we take care of our health, how we take care or go for our responsibilities. A lot of y'all Virgos haven't been taking care of y'all responsibilities the way you were supposed to. So you're gonna get hit with that energy to show you that why ain't you doing what you were supposed to be doing? You know that you had goddamn unhealthy left kneecaps. So goddamn it, so you can't be crying now that it might be a little bit worse when the sun hit your sign or whatever. Now your whole nervous system is getting a spotlight on it, and they want to check: do you got a healthy blood flow? They want to check: do you got arthritis in the thyroid or whatever? Do you got eczema behind the right eardrum? Or, you know what I'm saying? It's about to check because you're supposed to be up on these things. Ain't no excuse for Virgos not to be on these things. You know what I'm saying? So like the sun, your Lord is gonna be showing and shining on it and be like, all right, I'm gonna make you have an unhealthy, degenerate, goddamn reprobate, goddamn birthday this year. Because you ain't want to take care of that or whatever. So I tried to show you, you could be prepared and not worry or whatever, but now you're going to have to worry. You know what I'm saying? So throughout your birthday, you ain't going to be able to enjoy it. You're going to have all the wealth, no health. So yeah, y'all Virgos, y'all have to show us what to do and what not to do when it comes to taking care of our responsibilities, dealing with our day-to-day tasks. And that's a worst nightmare or like one of the most unstable lifetimes for a Virgo. If a Virgo in his life and they're not taking care of their responsibilities or they can't or they need extra assistance to do these things all the time or something keep being a problem when it comes to their health or when it comes into their day-to-day routines and they don't have any. and they're left to their devices or whatever the case may be. These are some of the lowest octave Virgos you could never meet or be a family friend or associate or coworker to. You know what I'm saying? You got the peak game. A Virgo that ain't got nothing to do, nothing to calculate, nothing to keep on a schedule or whatever the case may be. They will keep something like gossip and when you did something on a schedule in their brain to tell somebody that all y'all know. You know what I'm saying? In some way, shape, or form. You know, you keep a Virgo that got bad health or whatever the case may be, you could count on them being your best friend when it comes to making your health bad. You know what I'm saying? In some way, shape, or form. You could count on them always having something negative to say when you got some healthy thing you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Spiritually, mentally, or physically. You can always count on that Virgo to be like, how's that? What is that? That ain't nothing. You ain't doing nothing right. How you better than me? You know what I'm saying? You should do what I'm doing right now. Come where I'm at. Hey, we going out tonight to drink? I said, real, like, man, these Virgos be messed up if they lower octaves. If something ain't right with no 6th house energies in the Virgo's life, you could bet that Virgo is the lowest octave, and then that's a Virgo you don't want to be around. And they got like, you could be a millionaire if you around as many 2 cents that they drop or whatever. It's just, do you want, like, all money ain't good money. It's like, do you want that kind of, do you want it that way? Do you want that kind of money? Do you want that kind of problem? Do you want that kind of sweat going down your eardrums and those kind of words structured in that kind of way? It's like these are things you really got to bet up against. And then you got to really be like, yeah, all money ain't good money and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You got to really think real stuff. Because it take a long time to collect stuff in a little piggy bank, a bunch of pennies and 2 cents. It take a long, so that lets you know whatever you get ready to hear from that Virgo, they took a long time analyzing it, thinking about it or whatever the case may be. So they didn't went and spawn hell in it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no heaven in what they get ready to say. They deep. Ain't no gloss of heaven, exploration, God force in there. Ain't nothing. Not the force Yoda be with you. Nothing in that. It's all about, yeah, lightsaber stab. You know what I'm saying? Goddamn Chewbacca can't chew right. It's all about all kind of stuff and having arthritis on your left kneecap. That's all it's about. Ain't about nothing. You ain't even got to have no arthritis in your right big toe or nothing like that. It could be a situation where you find well-oiled running machine and shit like that. Get around a Virgo. Get around a lower octave Virgo or stuff like that and say you about to go do a cartwheel or something like that. How you gonna do a cartwheel? Don't you know your ACL sprain? Don't you know your right elbow looks split and stuff like that? Don't you know you got the wrong inch meter on one side of your collarbone is a little lower than your right side of collar? You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be making up all kind of stuff. They're gonna how you really looking at your stuff like, for real? Let me not ever try to do a cartwheel in my life because I might do a cartwheel in hell and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. Like, don't be around no lower octave Virgo, for real. I love y'all Virgos, real stuff. I don't mean to play y'all like that. I love y'all. Y'all got good sense sometimes. Y'all got good sense. But like I said, you know, depending on where it's directed, though, depending on where it's used. Depending on where it's used. Other than that, you know what I'm saying? All the mutable signs is going to be what to do and what not to do when it comes to transmuting this goddamn energy for these next 30 days while the sun is in goddamn Virgo. So keep that in mind. Everybody got to pay attention to mutable earth. Being mutable and being able to adapt. Being mutable is just another word or like how we use the universe, an adjective for change, adjust, or switch up. You know what I'm saying? Change, add on to, add, a change, or adjust. You know what I'm saying? So if you know how to change, add, or adjust something to do with earth qualities. What is earth qualities? Beyond the physical. Thinking and being practical. Making common sense of something. Rationalizing something. Grounding something. Fixating something. Seeing that fixated energy from different angles. Initiating that fixated thing and pushing it into another position so it can initiate and be a starting there or whatever. So these are our earth qualities. So if you know how to change, add, or adjust something to do with practicality, your comfort zones, security, safety, then you're good to go. And you won't be stuck in something to make you have to worry in some way, shape, or form. You may be too comfortable in an area right now, too content in an area. That's fixated energy. If you don't know how to change, switch, or add on to what you're too comfortable in, this could be a hard time for you when it comes to materializing, taking care of your responsibilities, taking care of your health. You know what I'm saying? Things you do on a day-to-day task, being able to have that uphold it sufficiently that you're able to maintain your comfort zone in some way. So that's going to make you eradicate it, doing things at the last minute, maybe stress and worry in some way, shape, or form, because you didn't know how to switch, add on to, or change up something you were stuck in. You might be stuck in gambling at the goddamn casino. Pay the goddamn motherfucking the Native American. The goddamn Seminoles. You know what I'm saying? Got to pay them offset. I'm sorry, I forgot them for a second. I was thinking the New York ones, but it's the Seminoles. They got to pay them or whatever the case may be. So get out of those fixated natures. You know what I'm saying? Let's hope QCP is okay. You know what I'm saying? Y'all stay out these goddamn gambling spots and stuff. There's a lot of spiritual natures going on and stuff that y'all don't really know about on these grounds or whatever. You just know you might be in a low demonic world or whatever, and you trying to get those Nike pair of Jordans or whatever the case may be. And I ain't mad at you. But just like I said, it's Virgo season. All energy ain't good energy. All money ain't good money or whatever. The things you got to do. I mean, you got to sit outside 6 a.m. in the morning and you ain't even in school no more. You're a grown-ass man and woman or whatever, but you out line waiting for them damn Jordans. The things you got to do. You see what I'm saying? Goddamn, you go get a white-collar, blue-collar, well-citizen oil machine job or whatever, or get out and do something sufficient with your people or whatever, but you want to go rob a bank. It ain't what you do, it's how you do it. You see what I'm saying? And that's what Virgo gonna teach everybody right now. Just don't overanalyze it over there, because we don't want to hear all that bullshit and worry, and we ain't even did it yet. What you worrying about? What you talking about? We ain't even did it yet. Let's worry about that after we do it. After it's done. Y'all need to know that too, Virgos. The spirit told me to tell y'all that. I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. Flight balls, beep, you know, for sure. You're not listening to the mind of an Antares Moon. I am the Royal Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and beep, responsibilities and obligations and duties. Erecta Swahil, hold that yellow hoop. Massasoit, Mama na toy. Woo. Masasaki.